think we are live. Welcome, everybody, to our live interview with Jeremy and Kendra from Countrywide RVing. They are our newest affiliates, and we're really excited for them to be part of the Wholesale Warranties family. Today, we're going to be talking about RV lifestyle, their blog, and their new YouTube channel. So stick around. You're not going to want to miss it. If you have any questions for Jeremy or Kendra or myself, feel free to leave them in the comment section. We'll do our best to answer them either live on this episode or shortly thereafter. My name is Jim Hoffman. I'm the Vice President of Business Operations here at Wholesale Warranties. Jeremy and Kendra, we're so excited to have you guys on and really appreciate you guys taking time out of your day. How are you guys doing today?
Doing good. I mean, we just wrapped up homeschooling with the kids, so let's relax for the rest of the day while they're holed up in their room being somewhat quiet right now.
Nice. I'm sure we'll probably tackle that because I too, being a father of young kids, homeschooling, whether it's because of COVID or because you're traveling, that comes with its own challenges. Well, let's kick things off. You guys are a new affiliate of ours, and we just like to hear a little bit about your background, a little bit about you guys.
So a little bit about me. I'm in the Coast Guard. I've been in the Coast Guard the last 17 years. I'm on that downward slide, 3 years till retirement.
Congratulations and thank you.
We've lived a lot of places around the country, like New York City, Virginia, South Carolina, Texas, and now in New England. Done a little bit of camping here and there, not RVing. In fact, never RV'd until like 2018. Is that when we rented the RV?
Yeah.
Like 2018 was like the first time I'd ever like truly slept in an RV, but I tent camped my entire life. And then just like pretty much from like our first trip with renting an RV, we enjoyed it, and then didn't think anything. That's important.
Yes,
it is, because that's where that whole hole in the bathroom comes into play.
Right.
But we didn't even like consider or talk about it again until 2019 or 2020.
Mm-hmm.
And then we kind of went and looked, and we bought one of the first two RVs that we looked at, and just like fell in love with kind of the freedom that RVing offered. So,
okay.
But
RVing's kind of like a good compromise between us because he wants to camp and hike, and I won't sleep in a tent. So we had to compromise on something somewhere, and that was RV.
Oh, she didn't grow up. She didn't camp at all, I don't think, or had a pop-up tent at one, or a pop-up camper at one point.
Yeah, we had a pop-up camper like one time, and then I think I went camping maybe once or twice, and that was it.
Okay, so it sounds like RVing's a nice little middle ground for you guys. Jeremy, it sounds like you grew up tent camping, and Kendra maybe not quite as much. And you mentioned you are in the Coast Guard, so we appreciate obviously your service there. 17 years is a pretty dramatic amount.
When you think about it, it's long, but then I always tell, because so right now I run the Coast Guard recruiting office out of Providence, Rhode Island. And I tell people coming in, I'm like, it's like literally blink of an eye and you feel like it's gone. Like I 17 years is a long time, but really look back, I'm like, it doesn't feel like 17 years, and it doesn't feel like I'm already having to start making preparations for retirement.
Right.
But it does, and it happens, and it's been fun. Enjoyed moving around, but I'm ready for something different. I'm ready for what's next.
Nice. And kind of bringing that up, so you mentioned some of the places that you have been to, or maybe that it was work related. So where are you guys now, and are you going to stay put for a little bit? Or are you guys going to head out? Where are you currently at? I'll start with that.
We are in a campground in Rhode Island. It's called Waterloom. Waterloom.
Waterloom.
Waterloom. Yeah, we are here about another 2 weeks, till the week before Halloween, and then we are going up to Mystic, Connecticut, and that is where we'll spend the winter time. So from end of this
And,
October till
the plan right now
February.
is plan right now is May.
Okay.
Will be, and that's because in the New England area, at least southern New England, pretty much all campgrounds are closed. There
Yeah.
was 4 that we could find. Um, 2 of them were over in like on Newport Island in Rhode Island. We really didn't want to be over there. Um, and then one of them that we kind of wanted to be at, it was close to where our kids were going to be going to school, was already booked. So this was like really our only option. Um, and I think we'll be there majority. We've talked, and I think we'll be doing a trip down through Texas and back sometime midwinter, maybe around like the holidays, January timeframe. But we will go back to Mystic, Connecticut, at least until April or May.
Okay. Nice. And so you guys brought up that you have kids. Tell us how that's going, having 2 young ones with you while you're traveling.
I mean, pretty great. We have a 11 and a 6-year-old.
Okay.
They're both at that age where they like understand what's going on. But they're also at that age where, they like the adventure of it. It's still adventure to them. So
Right.
every day is a little bit different. So they're okay with that. So they're not at that age where, we're all boring and,
Not yet. Not yet.
Not yet.
So
Another 2 years and getting those teenage years, then maybe. But
yeah.
I think we full-time RV.
Okay.
And that was not a plan up until just a few months ago. And I think being in the RV and traveling together brings us closer together as a family. So before we bought the RV, when we were living in South Carolina, at that point I'd already been in like 12 or 13 years. And up until then, like all of our vacations were going back to Texas and seeing family and not really taking the kids and exploring or doing anything with them. So we decided to start traveling around the local area on like long weekends and things like that. And we fell in love with the Smoky Mountain National Park in the Gatlinburg, Pigeon Forge, Townsend area. And so we went there several times, probably 4 or 5 times a year. And so that just kind of became natural, was to travel on long weekends. And when we moved to New England, we no longer had that like one spot that we were enjoying to go. That's kind of what led to the RV, is that we can move around and see different parts of New England while we're up here and explore, parts of the country that we haven't been to before. So I think they enjoy that, and
Yeah.
they enjoy that they're spending more time with their parents.
Sure.
But it is hard, losing, or not necessarily losing friends, but moving away from friends.
Yeah.
They create those relationships, especially like my son, his best friend is still in South Carolina, and they talk like every day, text each other, they play video games with each other. So there's those aspects that we do move a lot, and they miss their friends. So
would that be I would assume that would probably be one of the most challenging parts about traveling with littler ones, is those relationships that they make.
It is, especially like between probably like 6 and 11. Like our son is able to, I think he understands it a little bit more than our 6-year-old does. I mean, she understands it, but she talks a lot. She remembers a lot that we wouldn't expect her to remember. She remembers a lot of her friends from 3 and 4 years ago that we, or at least I didn't think she would, remember come 6 or 7 years old.
Right.
Yeah, when we moved to Rhode Island, we were here a couple months, so they had just gotten in the like the groove and making new friends, and then COVID happened. So I mean, they were in school maybe 5 months, and then we went lockdown.
Yeah.
And so for the longest time, we had distance learning. So their fondest memories right now of making friends is their friends that they had in South Carolina.
Yeah.
Like they've made friends here, um, but not like their friendships back in South Carolina. So, and our daughter is one of those ones that she doesn't meet a stranger. So she'll go find some little girl that's on the playground and be like, I made a new best friend today.
Right.
So, so
Other little kids and dogs. She thinks every dog is going to be her friend. Like,
yeah.
Stranger's just a friend you haven't met yet.
Yeah.
exactly.
That is her. That is her right there.
What would you guys say is the most rewarding part about traveling with children?
Everything for me, it's seeing their faces. Like everything's new to them. Everything's so fresh and so innocent. So they get excited about everything, which is great. You know, it's not something that we've done 100 times and we're having to pull them and be like, come on, let's go. Like when we go to the grocery store, you
Right.
know, the first trip that we took with them in the camper, we went to Kennebunkport in Maine.
Okay.
And as we were like driving back home, pulling into our like neighborhood, both of them looked at us and thanked us for the whole weekend, that they had so much fun. And, you know, it was just the best experience, you know, because at that age, you want to teach your kids to be grateful. And
Right.
we didn't even have to like prompt them to say thank you. Like it was just, they enjoyed it so much. So,
Yeah. I think is that true, growing up, I rode my bike all around the town, come back when the street lights come on. And, it's sad, but society is different now. And so being able to be like in a campground, kind of know that they're within, a few minutes of getting to them, and kind of letting them explore on their own.
Yeah.
Trying to be like, all right, well, there's the park. We're staying right next to it. Like, we'll watch you walk over to the park, to the playground, and then go over there. So it kind of gives them some independence without letting them ride their bike all around the town and stuff.
Yeah, I think one of the one of the big benefits, especially, not only COVID, but how you said, our world and our society has changed. The idea of letting, selfishly letting my kids out and letting them run around the neighborhood or on bikes. And I'm like, yeah, you can go, but there's going to be boundaries, right? But the last time we were at an RV park or a campsite, I specifically remember our last family trip was about a year ago to Yosemite during COVID. And so it was only 50% occupied. But the feeling you get as a parent to say, yeah, you can walk over to the park or go play in the park, and watching them be independent, there's a lot to be said about that, having them in that environment. So I agree with you 100% on the rewarding aspect on having the little ones with you, and watching them explore is super fun and very rewarding as a parent as well.
Yeah. Well, it's seeing them learn to value experiences over things.
Right.
Like, we get to go, like, we just came back from Acadia National Park, and letting them, kind of get that experience, things that maybe that we didn't have as kids. We were from the middle of West Texas, so traveling outside of Texas was very uncommon.
Right.
Because it would take 3 or 4 days to get out of
Yeah,
Texas.
it's a big
by
state.
the time that,
yeah.
and by the time then, like, your parents' vacation's over and you have to go back. So seeing them enjoy those experiences over necessarily wanting to go buy the latest toy, is rewarding.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Well, now, because you guys, so you mentioned earlier that you've been RVing now since about the beginning of 2020. And then did I hear you correctly? You guys went full time about 3 or 4 months ago.
We went full time 2 months ago.
Yeah.
So
we went full time August 11th, I think, was the day that we were out of our house and in the camper full time.
Okay.
And that was very unplanned.
Yeah, that was unplanned. But
so we bought our first RV in June of 2020.
Okay.
And then did a few trips throughout the summertime. Kids went to school, did that whole thing, and we were renting a piece of property. And so we both I worked from home about 50% of the time. She worked from home 100% of the time. Kids went to school, rode the bus, did the traditional suburbia thing. And then we also ran a woodworking business, building custom furniture and stuff. So we had a full wood shop on our property, and our landlords, we prompted them. We've been asking, hey, can we extend our lease? The whole time telling us yes, but never sending the paperwork. And then until about May, right? I know we just talked about this last night. Till about May,
Yeah.
propped up. We started a major kitchen renovation for them in their property because we expected we were staying. And then all of a sudden they're like, yep, nope, you got to move. We're selling the house. They're
Oh,
like, but don't get in a hurry. We haven't talked to like a realtor or anything. We're still kind of deciding if it's really going to go on the market. Fast forward to June, haven't heard from them for a month, and then they came in. They're like, yeah, we're definitely selling. It's going on the market, but it's not going to be a quick process.
Yeah.
And I hear not this quick process because every time something happened quickly, she would remind me. She was like, oh, I thought this wasn't going to be that quick process.
right.
And it was frustrating because we weren't planning to move and relocate a business and everything else that goes with it. And now with the housing market, rents through the roof, and we weren't going to buy because we knew that summer of 2023, we're definitely moving from this area. I get transferred again for my last year before retirement.
Right.
And so we didn't really have like a plan. We knew, like, we kind of talked about jokingly, oh, let's just hook up the RV and go. Like, we've been joking for 6 months. Like, we just enjoyed being out and at a campground and less like maintenance. We lived on an acre of property with just trees, so we had a lot of yard work and stuff every weekend. And a lot of it was like the kids like, oh, you never have time for us. You're always busy. You're working. You're doing this. And so not being able to find a place to rent, we're like, all right, well, let's sell our current RV. Let's buy another one. So we went with a Grand Design. We ordered it, and we're like, all right, well, they're saying like, don't be in a hurry to get out. So we weren't in a hurry. We ordered the RV. We were told it'd take 8 to 12 weeks.
Yeah.
And so we're like, all right, well, we'll just wait till the new one comes in to give them our notice of vacating, because we knew we kind of wanted to be out before school started again. And then we went on a big trip. We went to Ruidoso, New Mexico in July. And I was there for 2 weeks with the kids. Kendra was there for a week, and halfway through, I get a text from our landlord saying, "Hey, we need to know a date that you're moving out. We need you out of the house. We have some plans that we need to do for the property." And so something that wasn't quick was all of a sudden like extremely quick.
Yeah.
And we're like, well, like, I don't know what we're gonna do, because at the time, the dealership that had already bought back our first trailer from us because it had a leaking issue. So we're like, well, we don't really have a place. And it just so happens that the identical trailer that we ordered, somebody else had previously ordered, and then they backed out.
Oh.
And so it had arrived at the dealership. So we were able to slide in right into that exact same trailer with everything, with the options that we ordered on it. And so we, had it moved into the driveway, and come August 10th, was like it. That was the day we did stay in the RV for like another couple days. Nope. The 10th was that, like, we stayed in it somewhere around the 8th or 7th. We got like started kind of sleeping in it. But on the 10th is when we moved out, and went to the campground and haven't looked back. So we've been in it now just a little over 2 months. We sold probably 90% of our belongings, and have just a few things in storage, like some pieces of furniture that were memorable to us or would be super expensive to replace. And we did that kind of for, like, we don't want to get rid of everything because
Right.
it's going to be too expensive to furnish a new house in 6 months or a year or 2 years when we decide to move back. But we also didn't want to be paying $600, $800 for several storage units a month. And now come August, like, the plan was we would live in the RV, we would stay locally, just bounce around to the campgrounds locally, and then I would move our woodworking business into a commercial spot. And then come August 1st, I was supposed to move into the commercial spot, and that landlord was like, yeah, I didn't have time to prep the shop for you, and I don't know when, like, I'll
When I
have
will.
time. So we were between a rock and a hard place. Like, we had to be out in 10 days,
Right.
like, full out, and I had to move an entire business. So at that point, it was decided that, like, all right, maybe that was God's way of showing us that maybe we need to step back and take a break from the business,
Yeah.
for the most part, and spend the time with the kids. And so we got another storage unit, moved the entire shop into a storage unit, and then that's kind of brought us up to where we are. And now I think we have the itch, like, of not sitting around in one place and kind of
Right.
bouncing around and doing some travel. So I'm trying to work something out with work to where we can do more travel and not necessarily just be stationary.
Nice. And I noticed a couple other people joined. So for those that are just joining, we have Jeremy and Kendra from Countryside RVing. If you have questions, please leave them in the little comment section. We'll do our best to answer them both during the live recording, along with possibly after. I mean,
Absolutely.
to be honest, how kind of fortunate that you guys had the experience with traveling in an RV. And I'm thinking about this, and I'll use myself as an example. 20 years ago, going from apartment to apartment, and like your lease comes up, and then you're like, oh gosh, I have to run out and find another one, and you just overpay, or you have to move out. It's kind of, in maybe not today, but in hindsight, the idea of at least having a trailer there for a place to go to when your landlord sends you a text and is like, hey, what's that last day? Thankfully there's an option there. And I agree with you. I like the mindset that y'all are taking, where it's like, you know what, we're going to put the woodworking, the business to the side, focus on the family a little bit. Not saying that it's not going to come back, but for right now, that's where your guys' path is. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, and I think we had initially talked about that, with, like, so we had some friends that are military that had RVs, and they used them during transfer season, right? So we transfer in July, anywhere between 1 and 6 years. We've just happened to fall on about every 3 to 4 years we move. Well, in that transition period, now you have a home for your family, instead of like flying somewhere or driving, staying in a couple hotels for 3 to 4 weeks to find a house, and then wait for government movers to bring your stuff, which could take another 4 or 5, 6 weeks.
Yep.
And then you're gambling. Is my stuff broken? Am I going to have a bed? Is it lost? So at least now we knew we had a home. That was the whole plan, was like, we would just part-time it until we transferred, and then we'd full-time for a couple months and then go back into a traditional house. And then everything changed in like a blink of an eye that we weren't prepped for.
Right. No, but it's, I don't know. I think in retrospect, it's awesome that you guys had that as an avenue, because I don't know if many would, all things considered. But now, what part of the segment that I kind of enjoy the most is, now that you guys have been RVing for a little bit, and you share your stories, you have your website. I want to hear more about your YouTube channel. Before we get to that, though, I'm always interested in hearing about your most recent trip, and maybe about one of your best stories that you've done or that you've had thus far when you've been out exploring. So kind of like, what was your last big trip that you guys enjoyed?
We just got back from Acadia in Maine, Bar Harbor, and it's gorgeous up there. If you're one that wants like to see the fall and the changing colors, it's the place to be. Like, it was absolutely gorgeous. We got up one morning and went and saw the sunrise over a mountain. So that was gorgeous. There's just everywhere you look, it's just different. So you have your mountains, you have your water, you have your trees. Like, it's just um so scenery, yeah. Why? This was the best one, I think. Like,
Oh,
seeing all
awesome.
the different colors,
Yeah, I
the
mean,
water,
we've
everything.
done some ones recently that have been just like fantastic. We did Lake Placid
Yeah,
back in August,
August,
which
and that
was
was gorgeous.
like seeing just we're used to the coast, right? We have to live
Right.
on the coast, being in the Coast Guard. So
Right.
seeing some of, well, for the most part, we do have some inland units for other things, but for the most part, right, we're on the coast. So being able to see some of those other things has just been fantastic. And Acadia was like beyond what I expected it to be.
We even found a couple of, from us being from Texas, we look for good barbecue places.
Right.
Rhode Island has none, so don't try. Um,
Not that we found.
if you're a foodie, don't come to Rhode Island unless you like seafood. That's the only thing they got, or maybe Italian, but that's about it. Um, but we found two barbecue places that people recommended. One of them was pretty good. It's more of like a tourist spot. And then we found this like shack looking place. Um, it was the best. Like,
Yeah.
it was
It
so
was as
good.
close to like Texas style barbecue that we could get.
Yeah, it was good.
Um, so we
So
do. We try to now. Before we were full time, and it was always like, all right, let's we'll do some kind of true campfire cooking food. Something over that you would see just on the weekend that you're going to go roast weenies or something like that, and then we'll go out to eat several times to find local spots. Now it's a true balance, right? Because we're in our house, and we don't want to blow that budget of like, all right, well, just because we're in a new place, we're going to go eat out every night. Because if we get to that point of where we're on a constant travel basis, you can't treat every location as now you're truly on vacation and
Right.
you eat out all the time. So we had a balance between like cooking and eating out. And then, it's kind of hard. Like if you go somewhere, you're like, man, that food was terrible. It didn't hit the spot. Now you're on the hunt for the next spot. And so
Right.
the fact that we found two like really good barbecue places was just fantastic. It kind of felt like, all right, this is like truly like what we enjoy doing.
yeah.
So I
Right.
would say probably one of our best trips was the first time that we RV'd. We rented, and it was for a family reunion. So growing up, my family tent camped. It was like my cousins, my aunts, uncles, and my grandparents. We would go to the Lincoln National Forest in New Mexico over
Okay.
the 4th of July, and we would camp in this campground. And when we say a campground, it's not like a traditional like KOA or anything that has like all these amenities. Like growing up, it was literally just like gravel and dirt
Yeah.
with like a couple picnic tables and a true outhouse, like a wooden outhouse. Um, it was just a reserved site basically out in the middle of the Lincoln National Forest, about 10 miles outside of the closest town. And my grandparents had passed away in 2017. And so we kind of felt like the whole family get back together and go do a trip and just kind of like a memorial for my grandparents. And so at this point, like we did it from like 87 to 2003. And then we, all the cousins and stuff, we all grew up and had our own families, went our own different directions. So coming back in 2017 or in 2018 to do it. And then now, we're bringing all of our families. There was 7 cousins, and we all had kids now and our
Kids.
spouses. And
Right.
so now there was a total of 34 of us out there, ranging from like a few weeks old, right?
Mm-hmm.
All the way up to my uncle, I think, is the oldest. He was, I think, in his 60s at the time. So
I don't think your uncle's in his 60s yet.
yeah, he's older than my mom.
Oh, okay.
So he was like maybe right at 60. and so it was just great to see. And then it was the first time our kids really got to meet their extended family
Right.
and all their cousins. And you'll hear my daughter say all the time that, oh, I met my cousin that I didn't think was my cousin. Like, I didn't know
Right.
she was my cousin. And seeing that was their first real taste of like camping, being out and just
Outdoors.
running around and just being with other kids their age, and meeting that part of the family.
Yeah.
So I would say to me that was probably like the best, and so much that I think we've planned on in 2023 trying to do another family reunion at the same spot now that we have, our house. I mean, there were downfalls to that trip. We rented a trailer and there we stayed 10 people or 9 people inside of an RV.
Yeah, that's
that
gonna
slept.
I don't
create
recommend it.
yeah.
No.
Yeah, it was
No.
I think a 37-foot Puma Palomino, and there was two 9-year-olds or 8-year-olds, and then our daughter, and we have another nephew the same age, so they were like 4 at the time.
Yeah.
And then it was us two, my brother and his wife, and my mom, all inside this 37-foot. So it was tight. But we did. I mean, there was like 7 or 8 trailers. Everybody brought an RV, or rented RVs. So like that was the downfalls. Like we were cramped. We didn't really have our own space. But now like we have our space. My mom's like, no, I'm never staying with y'all again. Like next time we go and get mom. So I was like, all right, mom, we'll get you a teardrop, and then you just come like shower inside ours. Like you don't need to. And there's no hookups, right? So it's our first camping experience in RV and boondocking at the same time,
which is a tough lesson to learn on the first one.
Well, even tougher is like we rented it, not knowing like what to look for, not knowing that like your tank sensors don't really truly ever read empty because there's always stuff on them, toilet paper or whatever.
Right.
So like not knowing any of this thing, and then we get all the way up in the mountains, pull this RV 9 hours. We're 10,000 foot elevation. We're already hooked up. Like we're the trailer's off the truck. Like we're level, and then go to realize that the gray tank and the black tank are still completely full. And the guy told us like, no, they're empty. They drained them. Well, call this guy. And he's like, well, I mean, I didn't verify. The last people told me they drained them. Well, we're up here and we're in the middle of nowhere. It's going to take us 4 hours to go get drained somewhere and come back. And so being that, I mean, we had an outhouse, but they rebuilt it. So now it's like a concrete structure that you see in most national parks. So we did have that. And showers was outdoor shower, like in the cold. In the middle of July, it was still in the 40s in the mornings and the evenings that high up. So there was a lot of lessons learned there, but I think overall, like I truly enjoyed it.
It was nice.
See the reservations on her face. This is her first experience with an outhouse.
Yes.
Yeah.
I am not a fan of outhouses. I don't know. It's just going to
she needs plumbing.
I do. Go into a bathroom that you can't see the bottom. Like,
right.
You don't know if something's going to come up and get you. You don't know, like, I can't. I can't do it.
She does it when she has to, and she still does it when she has to, but it's not preferred.
No.
And we're gonna hear about it all day when it happens. Like,
and to be fair, right? So anyone's first experience, especially transitioning from tent camping to RV camping, that first trip is going to be amazing for just all the things that you said, right? For getting the families together and all that. But it's going to come with experiences, right? Experiences that you're going to take with you. Also, 9 people in one trailer. I mean, 37 foot, it could be a 90 foot. You're asking for you're ripping the Band-Aid right then and there, and then Kendra, I don't think it's unrealistic to want indoor plumbing or just plumbing.
I don't think
that's an unreasonable request.
I mean, even if it's outdoor plumbing, as long as that toilet has a bottom, I'm okay. Mm-hmm. But just not knowing what's in there, I don't like it. So
totally.
His brother's a early riser, and so when we stayed in that camper, his brother and his wife had the bedroom,
right,
and then his mom had like the
dining table.
dining table, and we had the pull-out couch, and then the kids had the bunk. So, I mean, anytime his brother got up at 5:00, 5:30, whenever he got up, you know, of course, it shook the whole camper. So
Right.
everybody was up, and so no. I like
our own spot.
I like my sleep, and I get a little grumpy if, you know, it's disturbed. So
Yeah, no,
I think ultimately that's what set us on the path that we are today.
Yeah.
At least we knew, right? You learn from the bad experiences as much as you're going to learn from the good ones, if not more.
Right. Hopefully.
So we kind of knew going forward about some of the things, and then, you know, buying your first RV is a complete eye opener as well.
Yeah.
And then going into like full timing, there's always a learning curve in RVing, and sometimes it's a good thing and sometimes it's bad. Sometimes you just want things to go as planned,
Right.
And then other times they don't, and you welcome it, but you have to be resilient to be part timing or full timing, because you can't expect it to be like a house that sits still. It moves, right? Things move, things are going to break, things aren't. I mean, our first trip out of town in the RV, in our first RV as a family, had a blowout on the side of a freeway in downtown Providence, and had to figure it out quickly on how to change a tire, which I had a lot of experience with, being in the Coast Guard and trailer and boats. Like, you know, that is the one benefit, is I had a lot of experience with trailers.
But still, I mean, it's a different experience.
But it never changes. Like, because when you get back, you're like, all right, well, absolutely, you got family. Well, definitely, you know, family is one, like, trying to keep them safe. You're trying to get yourself in a position. At the time, you know, I didn't know that, like, we could limp to the next exit on one tire to be in a safer spot, right? So I pulled over immediately to the closest shoulder I could get to start changing. You know, now it's like, all right, no, like, you can limp, you know, go 10 miles an hour, but you can get to the next on ramp or off ramp to get yourself in a better spot, right? And that's a learning thing that we learned on day one, like 20 minutes into the trip.
And that's where you learn to always keep at least 1 to 2 extra spares on your camper.
We're a full believer of 2 spares.
And that experience will do it.
Friends. Right? Yeah, we had some friends with us, and they let us borrow one of their spares.
So for you guys, as a newer affiliate for us, can you share what made you want to start, like, documenting your experience with the world, and then, you know, kind of being in this community? Because it takes a certain personality characteristic to be like, here's, you know, to share all that. And you guys are obviously in the podcast, and for those that are viewing, you know, Countryside RVing is where you can find them. But kind of what was that? How did you find that comfort to be willing to just kind of share your guys' life and your guys' experience with the world at large, or world at B?
I mean, I have a vastly different standpoint on it than Kendra does. She's more reserved, or has been. She's coming out of her shell on it now, but I have done content creation for a long time through my woodworking business. I've worked with a lot of other companies, so it had you know, pretty good standing with Instagram and all that. So I had an idea coming, and I just came off of 6 years standing podcast for woodworking. You know, so it was a kind of a natural recourse for me to start documenting my next hobby. And you know, I approached Kendra about it, and I was like, hey, like, you know, what do you think about this? Like, ultimately, like, start the podcast. And I don't know how long the podcast will stick around.
No. You came to me and you said, let's start a podcast. Okay. We're gonna start a podcast. That was something you liked, something I agreed to, figured, you know, it would be something we could do together as a couple. And then it all just blew up from there, which I should have known because he's not that type of person that's just going to settle with one thing.
But he's not going to just put one toe in the water,
No.
pun intended.
No,
he's
Well,
going
no,
to
he's
jump.
This
gonna
is right. You don't put all your eggs in one basket.
he's
and that's
going to
what I
jump
learned.
in full force.
Well, and you're right, I am, but that's what I've learned through like other years of content creation. Is like you just don't put your eggs in one basket, especially if you're hoping to one day have a business out of it,
Right.
or if you're using it to help sustain a lifestyle that you want to do, right? So you can't like, oh, all we're going to do is podcast and
Right.
nothing else, no social media presence, no, none of this, because ultimately you're not going to gain that audience that you want, right? That
Nope.
nobody's going to do podcasting or video creation or anything if they're not hearing from other fellow people, right? If you just feel like you're talking to a brick wall every week and there's no engagement, then you get bored with it, and you're like, well, I don't, maybe, like, we started this because we wanted to educate people. We're learning, and we feel like if we can save somebody else a little bit of heartache or mistakes along the way that we've made, then great. But if you don't ever get that feedback, right, then you're not going to want to continue with it because you're not going to see how rewarding it can be. So that's really where the podcast started, and we just launched season 2 today for the podcast.
Nice.
And just a week ago or 2 weeks ago, released our first YouTube video. And we did the podcast starting off more because we weren't going to be full time. So to do a video every 3 or 4 weeks about our trips, was just going to be kind of an afterthought, kind of a back burner thing. But I think now that we're full timing, we're able to document a lot more, and we're able to give more of an experience. So we're hoping to do more videos. We have probably another 6 or 7 videos already recorded. It's just going through that editing process. Between that and the podcast and full-time RVing right off the bat, and trying to figure out kids' schooling and all that, like it's a lot. And so it just piece it together. But I think, just to kind of like share our experience, is what keeps driving us forward to doing it.
And personally, I think that's awesome, right? I think like take the blowout, for example, just for those that are able to watch this video, either knowing that they can limp off, 10 miles an hour, get to a safe spot, or the idea of having 2 spares, right? Maybe that just dawned on somebody and it's going to alleviate that hiccup or that headache for that person later down the road. And selfishly, for us being in this business for as long as we have, one of the things that's great to see is you have, a handful of people that have been doing it for years and years and years. But then there's this new demographic that's kind of coming into the market, which, similar to yourselves, might have kids, might be homeschooling, might be trying to figure out all these different things. And the best way to enjoy your experience is to make sure that you are giving yourself a chance to listen and learn from others that have had similar experiences, right? And so for those, that are either getting into it, or maybe they're still hesitant to go rent the trailer and take it out because they don't know what to expect, I know they can go and listen to your podcast or go to your website and get information on how to make that trip a little bit more enjoyable. Because once you get there, and once you get to the place where you're really enjoying RVing, there's nothing else like it, regardless of what you have done professionally or personally. The community of RVing and the community of campers is just phenomenal, and it kind of holds the test of time. Just social interacting and what have you. So I compliment you guys on sharing your experience, because it does take a different type of personality to be willing to be like, here's our life, here's our opinion. Not everybody's going to be forthcoming with that. So I think that's awesome. Again, for anybody that is, for anybody that just joined, we are here with Countryside RVing. Please give us a like or give us a comment. We'll do our best to answer any questions that you may have. Jeremy and Kendra, I want to thank you guys so much for spending time with us. And, you know, selfishly, we're really excited to be partnering up with you guys. But again, I just wanted to really, really thank you for taking time out of your day, taking time out of homeschooling. I know you're on you finished that up, so now it's kind of free time.
This is day 2 of homeschooling.
Yeah.
So it's a rather new, still learning experience, but one that I think will open up more doors for us to travel, and do things that we're not bound by a school schedule and attendance dates and stuff. So
totally. For those that are watching, can you guys tell the audience where can they find you, or what's the best way to find you? Or what kind of content you have out there for some people that might be looking to learn more about you or your experience thus far?
Yeah, so I mean, you can find us on our website, which is countrysiderving.com. But we're also on Facebook under Countryside RVing. Instagram is countryside_RVing, and that's just funny story because somebody else already had Countryside RVing.
You didn't
had nothing up. I did.
Oh,
I had nothing. I reached out to they had nothing on their page, and I reached out to them, sent them, and I offered. I was like, "Hey, I'll buy it from you." You know, it's never responded to me,
right.
And so at that point, I was like, "All right, well, we have to move to the next thing."
Right.
You know, and now I don't know if they would ever get back to us. I don't know if I would buy it at that point,
right?
Because we already have this other one established. But you can find us. We have a podcast, Countryside RVing, and it's pretty much on every podcast catcher. And if it's not on one, hit us up, let us know it's not there, and I'll put it on it. But after having my other podcasts on I don't know, a dozen different ones out there, it was just natural for me to throw this one in the same spot. Newly YouTube channel, which is Countryside RVing. So I would say the easiest, fastest, probably Instagram to get a hold of us, or email, which is info@countrysiderving.com. But we want to have those conversations with people, just to say hello. You know, meet somebody at the campground, sit around the campfire. That's what we're after, just to be in the community and build a community, and meet those friends.
What was that thing we saw last night? There was one of those memes or something on Facebook, and it was like, only at a campground can you be walking your dog in your pajamas
with a bag of poop in your hands.
With a bag of poop in your hands and strike up a whole conversation with somebody.
So. Yeah, only on a campground. Right.
This is so true.
So, and I think a campground kind of brings out the best in people that you maybe would never see yourself associating with. You know, you are on a common ground, and you know, I think that's what drives us to share more about our experiences.
Totally. Well, I look forward to the next time that we'll get to sit down with you. But until that time, safe travels to you guys. Be good and have fun making memories.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
All right, guys. Take care.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.